Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Hope you guys been enjoying the content channel as of late. I literally just got done recording my Star Wars video, so hopefully you guys are enjoying that video. This video is going to be more specific, kind of relating to movies that are coming out right now, but I feel like it's kind of an interesting conversation given just where things are at right now when it comes to, the kinds of movies that are being put out right now. And that's relating to specifically the horror genre, but I think in a much larger conversation, I think the lineup of filmmakers that are now entering the Hollywood space today. Um, and pointing to a couple of movies, specifically this weekend, we have two that I'll point out, which is Backrooms, which was directed by Kane Persons, I believe his name is, and Obsession, which is directed by Curry Baker, I believe. Now, both of these filmmakers are having their feature debuts with these movies, and they are both also YouTubers. Both of I believe that the Backrooms guy, he's doing a feature film based off of a web series that he has done with the Backroom stuff, and the Obsession filmmaker is, I believe, also He's done short films and stuff like that, and now he's getting the chance to direct a feature or directed a feature, and it was picked up by Universal for like I believe $15 million, something like that. And both of these movies are, at least Obsession will say, has done great. It had a very rare feat done, at least according to Variety, where instead of having a decline, because usually on second weekends for films, you usually will start seeing a decline. This had an increase, I believe, of like 40% or something like that, which is extremely rare apparently for just film in general. So the buzz is hot right now for Obsession, and from what I've read about Backrooms, it's looking to do about 40 million or so this weekend, and that film only cost about 10 million. So that's also looking to do great as well. So there seems to be a little bit of a trend going on right now with a lot of specific kinds of filmmakers entering this Hollywood space right now, specifically YouTubers. We just mentioned these two, right? Obsession and Backrooms. This year also we had Iron One, which was directed by Markiplier, and that did great. And that was self-distributed and wasn't relying upon any of the big studios. Last year we had Chris Stuckman with Shelby Oaks, which was distributed through Neon, and I believe it ended up doing fine. So there seems to be something of a trend happening, right? And I believe that we have more, coming out this year from YouTubers and stuff like that. And I think it's great. I mean, I think it's great to see, a lot of young, people specifically around my age or hell, even younger. I heard that the Obsession filmmaker is like 20 years old. Kane Persons, the guy from the Backrooms filmmaker, he's 20 years old. I heard like the youngest filmmaker that they got from A24 so far. I think it's great, and I think that it highlights a lot of what I've told my brother about when it comes to entering the space, when it comes to entering the Hollywood space. If you're gonna make any kind of film to attract a financier, to attract a producer, to attract anybody, it's gotta be a horror film. Because what do all these movies have in common? They're horror films. They are also low budgeted, which is great when you talk to a financier or producer of any kind. In studios, they want to hear about the most advertising they can do, something that is the most appealing, but also for most cheap, right? So horror is the best of both worlds because you can play with a small budget, and in that you can also advertise it in a very particular way, because horror, when it comes to the theater chain, is I've been saying it for the longest time, horror is the best option for the theatrical experience. I mean, you got your superheroes, you got your sci-fi, all that stuff, but the true classic movie-going experience, in my opinion, is through horror. And it shows, because people, come out, and it's the perfect like dating option also, because, with horror, you all get nice and clothes and stuff like that, there's a lot of benefits socially, but also just generally speaking, it's just the more appealing thing for audience members, specifically nowadays, because horror just seems to be gaining more traction a lot, again, with a lot of like younger demographics and just with general audience members, because there's been developing fatigue on other franchises like the superhero genres, and we just talked about Star Wars, also facing its own fatigue and problems as well. And horror has just been always around, but it's now getting more traction, and there's less risks involved, with all these projects. Like I said, Backrooms, 10 million bucks. Obsession, from what I heard, as a production, was like less than $1 million. The distribution was about 15 million, but still, generally overall, 15, $16 million investment, that's nothing, you know? So I think that it's it's interesting, seeing that Hollywood is now, because it wasn't like this, it wasn't like this a couple years ago, where Hollywood was attracted by media personality, or online influencers or what have you. But it seems like Hollywood is now taking more interest in that, because social media has also just taken off in the past couple of years, and it's now become its own thing, for better and for worse. um, and Hollywood sees, in a place to capitalize on that, and to see, trends, and to see things that are happening online with maybe other filmmakers and stuff like that. Because also, to be fair, not to be cynical, but to be fair here, it's also a cheaper alternative than having to hire out a established auteur or an established filmmaker, because they're going to come in with their own pay rates, their own little package and stuff like that, versus picking up a YouTuber or some personality who has not worked in this business before, and you can dictate the rates to them. In the case of the director of Obsession, he now has leverage, right? Because his movie has gone great. I heard he just got like an 8-figure deal or something like that for his next movie. So he's now going to be, establishing himself in his own way, right? And all that is great, but I think that what is most intriguing is that it is coming from these specific platforms now. It's not just a guy or who knows this and that. It's now Hollywood is now looking into these people. They're now looking at the online community, and they're looking at things that are happening there, and they're going, hey, you've cultivated an audience, or hey, you've got all these views and stuff like that, which is probably more or less also what's happening. They're probably looking at these YouTubers and the kind of audiences they have, and going, hey, you did Backrooms, that got like over 1 million views and stuff like that. Let's have you play with a small budget, take that concept that seems to have worked online, and make it a feature, right? I can guess, I don't know if it's true or not, but Obsession may or may not have been a short film, maybe on YouTube. Universal saw that, or what have you, or I forget. I think that in the case of Obsession, it's just I think it was due to Sundance, right? They've gotten like a festival or something like that, and they gained distribution from that. Which is also the other way around that, just usually a festival run, that's more or less for distribution offerings that could be made there. So I think that was the case for Obsession. My bad. But generally, though, it's an interesting little trend to be seeing taking place. That more YouTubers are kind of branching out in that respect, and that Hollywood's kind of taking notice of that. So, is it the future for film? Like, is it a foolproof, like, this is just where things are going to go? I don't think so, but I think that it's a part of, like, it's definitely not a part of the conversation, in terms of, investments overall, because look at all these investments. All of them have done great, and they're all done for cheap, So I think hopefully Hollywood starts to realize that, things like this are way more appealing, than producing a $200-300 million thing that in this day and age is not plausible to make its money back, So So, and congrats to all those people. I mean, that's just, I mean, it's great to see, you know, it's always great to see, people getting their opportunities, and getting to do stuff like that. That's amazing. Um, it's just very intriguing to me that it's just specifically with certain personality types, or certain people on certain specific platforms, you know. So, yeah, I mean, it's if the way to get into it, guys. Like I've always said, horror is the answer. It's cheap, it's very marketable, and it's very appealing to audience members. More or less, that is a good way to get people to come see the movie and to guarantee some return on investment. And for all these examples, it's been working. So would not be shocked to hear more, people from maybe the YouTube space getting involved in the Hollywood space, because that relationship is just working right now. It's just working. And it wouldn't shock me if all those YouTubers are making horror movies, because that is just the way it works right now. And it's just what makes money. And it's just what's very appealing to audiences. So yeah, I think it's great. I think it's great to see people, getting their shine and getting opportunity. And, I mean, the industry is what it is, right? I mean, I don't fancy, the industry as it stands, in some respects. But I always will champion and be happy to see people getting their opportunities. So you guys let me know, how do you guys feel about the specific trend that has been going on, with these YouTubers, kind of branching out now into the film industry? How do you guys feel about it? And do you guys think that there's more to it, or do you guys feel like just, I think it's more to do with just capitalizing on looking at social media, seeing what's occurring there, seeing the kind of views that are taking place there, and seeing what the potential that they can make on a theatrical medium. That's how I'm seeing it. Because all these YouTubers, all these people that I'm talking about, in one way or another, have gained some form of traction. Chris Stuckman, we talked about, notable film critic on YouTube. Markiplier, he's a notable name. He's got a lot of subscribers and stuff like that. Kane Persons, the Backrooms guy, made the Backrooms shorts, got a lot of attention. And then Curdy Baker, I believe, was through festival circuits. So he had more of a classic way of dealing with things, gaining distribution and stuff like that. With these other three, it was more to do with just who they are as people, and using that to their advantage when pitching their ideas to people and specific distributors and stuff like that, and securing finance because of that. So. But you guys know your thoughts, all things related to this, in the comment section below. And if you guys are checking out Obsession, Backrooms, I don't care to watch those, but those films just personally don't really attract me all that much, because one, I'm a pussy, and also it's just generally not for me. But let me know all your thoughts in the comment section below. And that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in, and until then, I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.